name is Kurt Manio, and I'm a social worker. This past January marked my 15th year as a social worker. So before I talk just specifically about my career, I just want to share in general for anyone that doesn't know what a social worker does. I mean, we're all over the place. We work in child welfare, but we're also in schools. We work in law enforcement agencies, hospitals, colleges, behavioral health, all over the place. But in general, what we do is we meet with families. They're referred to as to address an identified need or a problem, right? So we meet with the family to assess their needs, also assess their strengths, and we use those strengths to help them address those identified needs or the identified problem, and we fill in any gaps with any services available in the community. So that's just in general about what social workers do. For me specifically, I graduated from UCR with a bachelor's in psychology. I started working for Riverside County. I guess Elizabeth likes to call it the county. So I worked there too in Riverside Social Services. So I worked in child welfare. So I said 15 years, right? So the first 11 years of my social work career, I was working for child welfare, where my primary role was investigating child abuse or neglect. So I said families that would get referred to us for an identified problem or need, right? So in the context of child welfare, the problem or need that we'd be addressing is concerns that the children at home weren't being, that they were being abused or neglected, right? So I did that for a really long time. I loved working with the families. I moved my way up into management. I became a supervisor. I also did some program and policy development. I did some training as well. I eventually went to Cal State San Bernardino to get my master's in social work. And a couple of years after I graduated, I left the county, sadly. I was sad to leave, but I was really hopeful for the opportunity I was given to run a program called First Star Academy at Cal State San Bernardino. So out of the context of child welfare, I moved into the context of education, where the problem or need I was addressing was the educational outcomes for our youth in foster care. You could do a quick search if you don't know, but the educational outcomes are really bad. And the early adulthood outcomes are probably even worse. So what I do now as a director of First Star Academy, in short, it is a pre-college program that provides academic support specifically for youth in foster care. So the goal is that I work with them, the students from ninth grade up until they ideally graduate as seniors. And during that time, I'm providing them with academic support, workshops, tutoring, and also workshops for social emotional learning, college preparation, and also just, we like to call it adulting 101, just skills that you're gonna need to survive, even if you're not in post-secondary education, right? So what that looks like on a day-to-day is I meet with students and families all the time on a regular basis, just to make sure that they're keeping up on their grades, giving them the resources that they need to make sure that they're keeping their grades up, and also advocating for them to make sure that their IEP is on point, their needs are being met by the school, and to make sure that they're being enrolled in the right classes for their track, right? And then also partnering with other agencies in the community to help provide these students with the services they need to help them be successful, not only in high school, but ideally in college and early adulthood as well. So that's what I do. I love being a social worker. There are many things to do. I also teach part-time in the School of Social Work here on campus, and I love doing that as well. I guess what I love most about it, I think Elizabeth just kind of wrapped it up. You kind of give forward, you pay it forward. I like the opportunity to help people. I love working with youth in foster care. I think they're a very underrepresented population, and they definitely need our support.